The new upcoming Dragon Ball Daima series has had fans mixed all throughout the community, but we do have some interesting news today that may or may not change your opinion on how you should view the Dragon Ball Daima series. I know you guys are probably excited to hear this information, but before we get into the video, make sure you guys do leave a like down below if you guys are excited for the new upcoming Dragon Ball Daima series. And without further ado, let's get straight into the news that we have today. All right, folks, here it is. Shout out to the boy Herms on Twitter. I will leave a link to him down in the description below so you guys can check out his Twitter page. But yeah, we do have some new news regarding the basic storyline in Dragon Ball Daima. And I know a lot of people are confused on what's going to be happening with Dragon Ball Daima and what's the basic plot. If you guys do read Toriyama's letter a little bit, as far as we know, one of the main points of the plot is that the cast gets turned into kids again, but nobody really knows exactly what the storyline is going to be about. People don't know how much Vegeta is going to be involved, or Goku, or the rest of the cast. As far as we know, we don't even know the journey that Goku's going to be fully doing yet. It hasn't been confirmed yet. From the leakers, we do know that Goku's going to be traveling from planet to planet, so that is something to be excited for, which is why I was probably getting related to GT a little bit. But we're going to read this. But he's talking about the Dragon Ball official site here. If you guys are wondering about that, it took actually like hours after the official announcement for Dragon Ball Daima for it to actually finally get announced in the Dragon Ball official site from Toriyama. And they actually did. If you click on this link here, it actually shows here the Dragon Ball Daima announcement on the official Dragon Ball site, which is something that we would want to see on the official site. It shows Goku's logo, what Goku's going to look like, a few shots from the teaser that we've seen, and then obviously the teaser video that was on Toei's animation page. But back to here, we're going to read what we have here. First, he leaves a few comments underwards. It says, this is contrast to films like Resurrection F or Super Hero, where Toriyama is credited the script, but sounds similar to the Super TV series, where he provided a synopsis that was expanded upon the anime staff, with each episode having its own script writer. Now, here's the thing with the way Dragon Ball operates nowadays, is that Dragon Ball, when it comes to Toriyama, Toriyama isn't as involved as people may think. So for example, with Dragon Ball Super, Toriyama would just send them scripts, and they would basically, Toei and the people operating those scripts would basically pull an episode together, or the arc together, based off the scripts that Toriyama would send. And even in the Dragon Ball Super manga, Toriyama isn't completely the only one involved. Like, Dragon Ball was, the way it is now, it's not the way it was back in the day, where it was mainly just Toriyama. Toriyama here, in this instance, where Dragon Ball's currently at, Toriyama's basically involved with the Dragon Ball Super manga still, but it's mainly Toyotaro, and Toyotaro can obviously change whatever he wants from time to time there. And this does make people wonder a lot what the canon actually is with Dragon Ball. But like I said, the writers of Dragon Ball don't necessarily look at it. Like, for example, there are characters in Dragon Ball Super that aren't even from Toriyama, right? They're just created by Toei. So for example, like the female Saiyans in the Universe 6 arc, that's not from Toriyama. That was an idea that was created by Toei. But that's the difference with the Dragon Ball Daima series, that Toriyama is very, very involved with this series, and that's what Herms goes on to say here. He says, and indeed, Daima is referred to as a series, so it makes sense that it's a production. Would in some ways at least be closer to Super TV series rather than films, to the extent that anything about the Super anime's production can be considered typical. So although Dragon Ball Daima is a series, right, and this is something that people need to know, is that people know that Dragon Ball Super, as it was first airing, the animation for Dragon Ball Super was very, very ugly and buggy. People know that, and that was very like laughable about Dragon Ball Super when it was first released, and that's because they were very like unprepared, or I guess you could say. This is something that people don't also know about, like a lot of people don't know about Dragon Ball Super, is that Dragon Ball Super, especially since the Super anime was way further ahead than the actual manga, people don't know that the Dragon Ball Super anime would have like different writers from Toei that were hired from Toei that would write out how the episodes would operate. Like they weren't directly hand-to-hand Toriyama writing down how each of these episodes were going to be planned out. That's not how Dragon Ball Super was. Now, Dragon Ball Super isn't all just Toriyama. Like, Like there's a little bit of Toei in there, a little bit of Toyotaro in there. There's a little bit of almost everything in there, and that's why it's so different compared to like modern Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z more refers to Toriyama's ideas and writing. But with the Dragon Ball Daima series, Toriyama is overseeing the scripts. He is writing this as it goes along, and he is going as far as to review the animation for the series, just so he can make sure, because there is no manga for this series, so he's going as far as to make sure that he's reviewing the animation for this series, just to make sure that it goes down with his vision on how he planned this series to be written. But that should really show all of you, that anyone who loves back old school Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, that Dragon Ball Daima, you're going to get a lot more of that than you have been with anything Dragon Ball Super related. Because the Dragon Ball Daima series, this is the most Toriyama has been involved with Dragon Ball in a very, very long time when you're talking about Super and other things Dragon Ball related. Like I said, with Dragon Ball Super, he would just get the scripts, he would send it to the directors of Toei, and Toei would have writers that they would assign for each episode, I guess you could say, and they would just let the directors or the writers do whatever they want with the scripts that Toriyama basically gave them. Obviously, this is Toriyama's world, so he can change and do whatever he wants with it, right? Especially with the manga, right? Like he does have the last say in a lot of things. Main reason being that this is his world, this is his creations. The Dragon Ball world is Toriyama's world. Simply put, the Dragon Ball world is Toriyama's world. But going back to what I was saying about the bad animation in Dragon Ball Super, we won't expect that in Dragon Ball Daima at all. Not even a little bit. That won't be happening with Dragon Ball Daima, and that's because they've had this series in production for a very long time compared to Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super's production series was very poorly planned out, but for Dragon Ball Daima, it's completely different, because the Dragon Ball Daima production for this specific animation has been worked on for a very, very long time. As far as I know, it's been since like the end of 2021, right? So this has been worked on for a very, very long time. The writing of the series, what the series is going to look like, the animation, everything. It's just been worked on for a very long time. As far as I know, from what I've heard from other leakers and stuff like that, is that they already have the first episode ready to go, right? So they're just probably finishing a few other things regarding to the series, which is why it's probably going to release a little bit later than we expected. Scrolling down a little bit more, this is something else that I thought was very interesting, and this very much could be the case with the Dragon Ball Daima series, and if it is, that makes the series very, very exciting. And if you look at my breakdown video, I kind of did mention it a little bit. I gave like a little hint to it. It says, in other words, Daima will presumably reveal new details about the Dragon Ball world is set up. Maybe we'll finally learn what the deal is with Deborah's demon world, or where the Namekians come from, or some other weird thing. Clearly, we'll get to see a new location, if nothing else. Now, this is very, very big, because the point of the Dragon Ball Daima series is basically exploration. Like, Goku is going to be exploring a lot. He's going to be exploring a new world and basically getting his body back for him and his friends. And if you do look back at the teaser, you do see that we see the main references that we do see in the teaser are references to the Buu arc during Dragon Ball Z. We don't really see references to anything else, any other arc in Dragon Ball as a whole. And looking at the way this picture looks here, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the demon realm, right? Because it does say that it is a demon that changes Goku and everybody else into being a little kid again. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the demon realm where Deborah is originally from, and maybe these people are trying to get revenge back on Goku and the rest of them because of what they did to Deborah. I genuinely don't know. That very much could be the case. This does look like, if the demon realm where Deborah is from is anywhere, it does look like it would be this. And you also have to remember that Supreme Kai is basically like the second main or co-main character of the series, and we haven't seen Supreme Kai that much involved in a series since the Buu arc. And you also have to remember that the Supreme Kai, more than anyone, knew where Deborah was from, so we can expect that this could be the demon realm for Deborah. And the people that we do see in the series, the other demons that we see in the series, or the other Kaioshins that we see in the series, could also relate to Deborah as well. I don't know yet. Like I said, this is just speculation. None of this is confirmed, but it is something interesting to look after. But yeah, that's basically it. I think we're going to basically be seeing a lot of new realms here, and not just new realms, but we may see a hint a lot to the demon world that Deborah is from in Dragon Ball Daima, which is really exciting. We've never actually got to see that other than from like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and stuff stuff like that, or maybe even Dragon Ball Heroes. But yeah, that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this stuff down in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys predict will happen in Dragon Ball Daima, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Hey, it's me, Goku! If you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to hit a like and subscribe button so you can be updated for all the new content PBL Gaming makes. See ya!